Straight, no chaser.
This time we're recording it. So, we're going to get into some things and do some things and talk about some things. And yeah.
We just talked about COVID-19. We talked about health. I mean, what else you want to do? You want to just talk about religion too? Man, goddamn.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Straight No Chaser, the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Another week, we've made it. I'm John. I'm going to go around, but first, we got to tell everybody where we can be found. And please like, share, subscribe, listen to us. If you know us or you want to ask some questions or something, write us. You know what I'm saying? We're always around. You could probably text us if you wanted to. We're on Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Anchor, YouTube. Anywhere that YouTube, or did I already say YouTube? Anywhere the podcasts are, we're there. So, like, share, subscribe. Straight, no chaser, the podcast. I'm John. Gonna go around. Neil, go ahead and introduce yourself. Or should I say Ox? My bad.
What's going on, Neil? What's happening? Let's go.
Hi, y'all. Rasheem, if you ain't got my math, you can't text me. So
Don't text him.
Facts. Facts.
You got to be quiet, Jack.
Hit that subscribe button below. All of us, please do that if you're on YouTube. But KG, let's get it popping. Oh,
I hear someone's music.
that might be Neil.
I don't have no music on.
I definitely hear something.
I hear music too. There's no music playing in my house.
That's crazy. I don't have nothing open.
I cannot call it. I'm making sure that all my little devices turned off. Technology, people. This is technology, internet. We're doing this live. So, it is what it is. We're just trying to get in where we fit in, so to speak. And speaking of getting in where we fit in, I understand we got like a little bit. Are we going to talk about the left at the house situation first? We want to update the people. That's what we're going to get into first.
Hey, you anchor in it. You take us where you want to go.
All right. So we have a couple updates on situations. Okay. So last week we had a personal story.
Okay. So
About, yeah.
if that's where we're going. So last week, someone shared with me that they had this issue. They was dating somebody. It doesn't seem like it was an amicable separation. It seems like it might have been a little hasty, and my people's left her stuff at this dude's crib. And she's telling me how she was blowing him up, texting him, trying to get the stuff back. First, I think texting is really a passive aggressive way of communicating. If he got something you want, call him, But she was trying to get stuff back, and he wasn't hitting her back. And she was like, "What should I do?" After we all gave our advice, if y'all want to know the advice we gave, go back and listen to last week's podcast. I guess she didn't like the advice, or I guess she got the picture. Because either which way, she came back and told me she just blocked the dude. She just straight up blocked it. So she was like, I'm done. I ain't gonna worry about this no more. And so I guess that's the Cage. You always like updates. That's the update of the situation. She was led to leave that boy alone.
Listen, the updates are important. Like, I don't want to be up here wasting time giving people advice and not know what the hell they did with it. I mean, it's what we wasting our time for if you don't come back and tell us what you did with the advice.
Right.
It makes sense. It makes absolute sense.
It's not like we get anonymous people. Somebody on here knows who these people are. Mm-hmm. So, you should get an update. It's not that difficult.
It's not hard. It's not hard. You're right. I get it.
So if y'all out there and y'all want to share and get advice, taking Cage's lead, give us some updates, because people have come to me and have disappeared in the ether. But let us know how you felt about what we shared and what action you took afterwards.
Right.
Because we're not right all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, but not all the time.
I'm trying to think of the last time I was wrong, but we'll come back to that.
Oh, that was just 2 minutes ago.
No. Speaking of wrong, unfortunately, we got to bring this up. Cardi B divorce. Okay, so for those people who don't care, don't know, ain't been listening, whatever, Cardi B, the rapper, is married to one of the Migos. I believe her husband's name Offset, which is the stupidest rap name of all time, next to Young Thug. But anyway, Cardi B and Offset are married. Now they're not going to be married. So that caused a whole bunch of problems for a whole lot of people. And, you know, we got to kind of unpack this. Do we have any thoughts about young love, people getting divorced early? They were only married for 3 years. They got one baby. I mean, things don't work. People get divorced. Ish happens. You know what I'm saying? Is that basically where we at with it?
You know, so when people get married, you know, folks are going into it. Some people go into it with the idea that, you know, this is going to be my forever love. I'm not going to get divorced. I mean, you know, vows say until death do us part. Somebody got to die. And it, that's typically the engine behind giving people chances when they find out that the relationship ain't really going the way they wanted it to go. So when I think about Cardi and Offset getting a divorce, she gave him a chance. You know, dude was doing his thing.
What does that actually mean, Rasheem? Because we might not know all the terminology. What does doing your thing mean?
Dude was being he was cheating. He was being promiscuous.
Talking about that happened before they got married, right?
I could have sworn it happened. Well, whether it was before they got married or maybe my timeline is messed up, or after the marriage. I'm building up to this one thing, this one term, the two words, red flag. She had red flags on this dude, and she decided to marry him and stay married to him. And I don't know the reason why people get married and they stay married, because they till death do us part. Mm-hmm. But there were red flags, and I guess she's, you know, straw that broke the camel's back, and it's time for me to go. And quite honestly, I would rather her leave the cat instead of being in a relationship with him and being thoroughly unhappy, thoroughly distrustful, or not. So, I mean, I applaud her for doing it now, but she probably could have saved herself a couple years of her life. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole different take than I have.
Surprising.
Well, I get the impression from Rasheem that he's the detrimental person that's in a relationship, and she now has to escape the situation.
Well, let me try to give some background, because KG.
Hold up. Go ahead. No background right now. Give me a second.
All right.
I don't see it that way. I think they're both culprits in their own demise. They're complicit in their own behavior. She enables him. They go out. She gets him all kind of exotic people to hang out with him and do different types of things. And they engage in this activity that she endorses.
You say exotic people, mean like people from, I don't know, Bora Bora? When you say exotic people, what are you talking about?
They may be from Bora Bora. I don't know where they're from. They have a certain set of skills. How about that?
Okay.
Hold on. This is called, the name of our podcast is Straight No Chaser. So now I recognize that our mothers and daughters and whatnot like that are listening, but we got to be clear about what we're saying. We're talking about, you basically alluding to Cardi B bringing in another woman, having threesomes. Is that what we're talking about? I'm just trying to be clear.
I mean, I don't know if they did that or not, but I definitely know that they've gone to strip clubs together. Okay. She has gotten strippers for herself, do it for him. So the type of relationship that they have, I can't sit up here and say that, you know, he's the culprit. Again, I don't, listen, if they want to do that, have fun. If I want to do that with my wife, we're going to have fun too. But that's for us to decide. I don't know. None of us know the reason. At least I haven't heard the reason of why she filed for divorce. But I don't think any of us are surprised that they're getting a divorce. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I think people get, in my opinion, I think when people are younger, they get married for love. And when they find out love ain't enough, that you got to have more than that emotion, then stuff gets real. And when you add a baby to the mix, it gets even realer.
Ooh.
Y'all tried to clown me 2 weeks ago when I was talking about you need more than love in a relationship. But I hear you. Keep going.
I didn't clown you. No, don't say y'all.
I did.
It's the two people on my screen. John and Neil are below us, so those two people were the one that was clowning. I'm with you.
Wasn't me.
Oh, you think love is always the most important thing? I can't. I think when you're younger, again, all you got is you ain't got no money, so you can definitely have your emotions. Right now, Cardi B, I would imagine, is a financial breadwinner in their relationship. Offset making some cheese, but he ain't making Cardi B money, at least in my, because he got to split it 3 ways. She a solo act, so you know, and I think she's even asking for alimony, which is ridiculous, and she wants him to pay lawyer fees.
Hold on, fam.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
She wants custody of the kids.
They both want custody of the kid.
Yeah.
That's the meal ticket at this point for both of them. But you know, it's unfortunate. I hate to see, you know, people looking at them as a pedestal for Black love because of how authentic they were. I mean, people did. I mean, I'm not saying Keltric did. I have no faith in Cardi B and Offset relationship. So you know, I think it's just a unique situation, and it will take a very secure man to be with Cardi B, in my opinion, because of what she sells, how she sells it. You have to really be secure in your manhood. No different than Jay-Z. You got to be really secure in his manhood to be with Beyonce, because she's not as overt with her sexuality as Cardi B is, but there is some sex appeal that she likes to portray to, I think, enhance her likability or, you know, her fandom. So I'll say I pray for them both. Have good luck.
And I hear you with that. The only thing that I push back on is, like, even though she has encouraged a particular type of behavior, I'm just going to make an assumption that there were still guardrails in terms of what their relationship was.
That's a poor assumption because you don't know.
I'm just going to make that assumption that they were able to determine what they wanted to do with their relationship, and that he may have just said, maybe because of the encouragement, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
I think you're putting the onus all on him as the person that acted improper. I think that's misguided and unfair to him.
Okay.
You don't know. It could be her. It could be something. I mean, he may not even afford a lawyer, so she just kind of put the plug on it, right? You never know. Those types of things could occur. And I'm not bumping for him, but I'm just saying we have to be very careful not to always say that the Black brother is the one that's causing the friction in the relationship, and the Black woman has to escape. It can work both ways.
Well, see,
Neil.
No, go ahead, Neil.
Now, I'm about to say, let that woman be, man. That people gonna say something, whether it was 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Somebody gonna have something to say. Like our version of love and what their version of love, whether it was love or not, really, who cares? Like Ra or somebody said, she finally came to the realization that, yo, I've had enough. I want to bounce. She didn't try to stay together for the benefit of their daughter. She's like, look, you know, to quote somebody said, the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, so they had a good run. America looked them. America, you know, idolized them or whatever, thought they were a cute couple. She's like, look, I'm done. Just pray for them and hope, you know, that their daughter or the kids involved will still be getting love from all the parents. Divorce, people fail to realize that I think everything eventually comes to an end. We want to hear the whole happy fairy tale ending. Oh my God, they got married. But we don't know what the problems that happen. We don't know the situation that causes somebody to say, you know what, I'm done. So God bless them. I mean, the biggest thing for me is the kids. As long as the kids get the love and the attention that they need, all right, cool. Will Cardi probably marry somebody else in the future? Yeah. Will Offset marry somebody else in the future? Yeah. Because look at all the hate they used to give Bobby and Whitney back in the days. You know, they used to say Bobby was the one that drove Whitney to this, or Whitney was the one that did Bobby to this. But we don't really know. Nobody will really ever know unless you're involved in that.
I think we do know at this point for them too.
I think we know now.
With Bobby and Whitney, yes. But see, one thing that y'all might not know, KG, you might not know this. I know that this is something that Rasheem was talking about. Offset had hoes. Let's just call it what it is. And he was repeatedly caught out there, not just with the hoes, but like they would get on Instagram and they would kind of air things out on social media. It's an embarrassment. And Cardi B's like base, for lack of a better word, is black women, and it didn't look good for her to be married to this dude that's constantly out here, you know, with randoms and nailing strange and, you know, this type of thing. So to me, it makes sense. It's unfortunate. It's sad. But in the end, and we also forget that they're very young. They're not children by any stretch of the imagination, but I think both of them is like 25.
Well, if he was out there like that, then she should have been out. So
That's what I'm saying. So is what it is. Here's my one last question for y'all. Should she pay him alimony? She's making the money.
yes, she should.
Okay.
Yes, she should. I mean, it's kind of like the Janae. What's my man, Big Shiner? What's the lady's name that he's with now?
Janae Aiko.
Yeah. So y'all know she was married. They went on tour. So they got the divorce. Now they've been locked up in love. She got the tattoo. Got it covered up, and now they back together again. So it goes both ways, man. That's all I can say.
I don't think she should pay him. He may not have as much money as she has, but he got royalties. He got residuals.
That's not the point. He was with her as she was building her career. That's what everybody says. She was not as big as she was at the beginning, and now she's at the point where she might be arguably the biggest woman rapper on the planet. Cut that man his check.
And she should pay him because he fucked up?
No, I'm not with that.
Hell no.
She wants out. I'm just going by the same logic. I'm just saying keep the same energy. If
She filed for divorce.
she filed for the divorce.
Yeah,
I may be missing some, but yeah, I would imagine. Why would Dr. Dre's ex-wife or soon-to-be ex-wife get money?
Talk about it. Because she was with him the entire time he was building his.
I gotta understand y'all. Hold up. What's y'all, Rasheem and Neil? What's the logic behind him not getting alimony, but Dr. Dre's soon-to-be ex-wife getting alimony?
I don't know how long Dre was with his wife.
I think 10 years, something like that.
More than that.
Maybe more than 10.
Like was she? I don't know.
All right, forget that. What about Paul McCartney's ex-wife? She was, I think it was there for like a year.
Like, I'm not with that either. I'm saying this is what I'm saying.
You stuttering right now. Say that again.
This is what I'm saying. Offset has his own cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
He got his own money. He got money that'll continue to come in with his Migos stuff. He's still going to be able to make, well, I was about to say he's still going to be able to tour, but not right now because we've got a dumb president. But he can't tour right now, but he's still got money coming in. He's still getting album sales or streams or whatever. He does not need, in my mind, alimony is needed because there are expenses that you can no longer cover because you are separated from the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out.
He still can cover his expenses.
That's not the point.
That's the way I'm viewing it.
His lifestyle is going to be greatly impacted without her in it. I assure you of that.
Bottom line.
That's his fault for cheating. That's his dumbass fault.
Right.
You assume that's the reason.
Okay, I'm saying if we're going off the assumption that he cheated, you don't get no alimony.
Actually, I'm changing my assumption on that. My mind is making me change my assumption on that, and I'll tell that when we're ready to go into the second part of this.
Cut the check is all I got to say because he was there from the beginning. I want to say he pulled her out. She was a stripper. She got on Love and Hip Hop.
As a matter of fact, I think he helped her get her deal.
Talk about it.
He helped.
Cardi B is signed to the Migos little record label, not their record label, but the record label that they on. So he put her on, cut him his check. Don't be mad at us in that we just
money. He don't need no money from her, man.
That's not the point.
It's like, I mean, y'all looking at it like it's a business transaction.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how y'all want it both ways to me in this situation. Now I think it's very strange.
Talk about it. I love it. Okay, so we gonna find out. Here's my
creative juices flowing. Maybe it isn't that he cheated. Maybe it's that she cheated, because if you recall, she just did a single with Megan Thee Stallion. And then immediately after that single, I don't know if y'all saw it, Megan was on her lives talking about how she wanted the girls to DM her. She didn't want to know her applications were open for women. And she specifically said how she liked Spanish women. Maybe something happened between Cardi and Megan. And Offset was like, I'm through with you. You keep cheating on me, I'm done.
But Cardi is the one that filed.
Niecy Nash too?
Or maybe Cardi, yeah. If Cardi filed, maybe it was Cardi who was like, "Oh, this is what I want to do," and Offset, you holding me back. But either which way, maybe she the one who stepped out.
It's a premature thing to say, but listen, I think that's highly feasible though, right? That's the point, right? We don't know enough details. We can speculate all we want. I'm just not gonna condemn this dude to be like he's the asshole that's creating this divorce.
Yeah, asshole for asking for alimony though.
He is.
He has not asked for what we don't know anything of what he's doing, and it's sad to me.
He's asking for custody of the baby.
If he gets the baby and he asks for child support, I'm with it.
Cut that check.
But alimony, I'm like, you don't need it.
Alimony.
You saw Dr. Dre. Wait a minute, Dr. Dre's soon-to-be ex. She wanted, I think, for entertainment and cell phone, like a couple of $100,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And
y'all cool with that?
I think she's on some monkey bars for that.
Cut the
I'm
check.
sorry, too.
You said what, Neil?
I said she on some bullshit for that too.
I'm with her. Cut the check. Cut the check.
I'm with
him the entire time. She was with him when he was building his career.
No,
when he got that Beats money, yes, she was. She was.
Beats, yeah.
She was the lawyer for Death Row. She's been down for a minute. So she's been on his team back when he beat D Barnes' ass on that rap show. She was on the team.
Was with him?
Yeah. I mean, she was she had a stand-in the NWA movie. All that to say, she's been down for about 20 years. Get that woman her money. Bottom line.
Right. If she'd been there that long, then yes, she helped him build that empire that he had.
So I guess the question is, at what point in time? Because I feel like you guys have a threshold in your mind where alimony is like expected. What's that threshold?
Time out. I got one quick question. Let's say you married somebody today. You won the lottery tomorrow. You try to divorce them on Wednesday. Do you think the courts is going to give them half your lottery money?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn Skippy. They sure will.
And my example, my extreme example is Jeff Bezos.
Wait, how you just going to dump on my question? My question is, what threshold?
Jeff Bezos, like his wife was with him from the beginning. When he was doing kooky commercials and he was fat, he was balding, like she was with him from the beginning.
Don't fat shame that man.
But see, you know what? Some shit I just think is there got to be an exception to certain things because some shit is foul. Because I don't know if you heard about the Tracy Morgan and his wife getting ready to be separated. So now, okay, I get John's analogy or statement about we've been riding together from the beginning. Okay, you might be able to get half of the money that I got through entertainment and comedy, but they were saying that she wanted half of that Walmart settlement. You didn't get hit by that truck, so why are you getting half of that?
Who pushed the wheelchair?
You don't get half. That's foul.
Wait,
foul, John.
I don't know if I saw this, but I think Tracy Morgan's wife is a much younger woman who came along a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I may be off on that, but I think there should be some scale. Like take age of the man or the person who's making the most money, the amount of time that they've had the money, divided by the amount of time that the spouse has been in the life.
Well, hold up.
And then subtract the age of the age difference between the spouses.
You're doing that.
Hold up, John. You trying to tell me you really think that his wife should get half of that Walmart money? You wasn't in the car with me. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
Nah, it actually does have something to do with her.
If she was there during the time when he was trying to convalesce, she had to wipe his ass. She had to give him sponge baths. She had to feed him. She was down. She was there for the, day and night for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And now she's out. She don't want to be with him no more. You're going to have to cut her a check. That's the bottom line.
That's why I think Offset should get alimony. I think everybody should be entitled to some type of financial, I guess, severance, so to speak, when you end your entanglement.
That's right. That's right.
Severance pay.
This is the type of shit right here that really makes me love the word prenup. Word up.
Sometimes it don't matter with the prenup because you can get that thrown out because Dr. Dre got a prenup. It don't matter. Because guess who wrote his prenup? The woman that he was marrying like an idiot. She was his lawyer. He ain't that smart. Anyway. Niecy Nash. KG, you brought up Niecy Nash. I love this whole story. To me, it's hilarious. Niecy Nash said years ago She was married. She's been married to a man. She said that the best way to keep a man is giving him a blowjob a day. I thought that was the best relationship advice of all time. It pains me that it didn't work in Niecy's case because she left that man and got with a woman that looks like a man, kind of. So my question here is,
You know how much? Never mind. Go ahead.
What?
Never mind.
I don't know. Here's the thing. A lot of women are always like, they hate dealing with dudes. It's the ghetto dealing with dudes. They wish that they like women. Why don't you just go get you a woman? Niecy Nash is showing y'all the way you can do that. It's 2020.
Wait, what's your question?
Why do, I guess I don't have a question. It's more of an observation. It is much more acceptable for women to marry other women.
It's acceptable for men to marry men.
This is true, but if you left your wife and married a dude, it would not be received the same
That's not
way.
happening for me. So
Well, I'm not saying you. I'm saying other people. So what happened is Niecy Nash was married to a man, a husband.
you just said that.
I'm trying to, yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Let him talk, Cage.
Niecy Nash left her husband and got with a woman. Everybody applauded. Everybody was like, that's wonderful. Love wins. If the genders were reversed, it would not be received the same way. In other words, a man leaving his wife and getting with another man. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ain't that what Kris Jenner did? Or not? Whatever Bruce transition.
No, because Caitlyn Jenner made it clear in an interview that she was not gay. She was not homosexual. As a matter of fact, I think at the time of that interview, she was in a relationship with a woman, which confused me completely. I'm like, so you're transgender, you are a woman now, and you get with a woman. To me, that makes you
A lesbian.
right. But she was clear that she wasn't gay. I guess she was trying to signify that she wasn't into men. That confused
That actually makes sense to me.
I guess.
You lived your whole life in your brain as a man.
I get it.
I get it. But my thing with the
It's
Niecy
different,
Nash,
but I get it.
the Niecy Nash thing for me, the pieces that stood out for me is that you got notoriety telling a whole bunch of women what they needed to do daily to keep their man.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the way I viewed it, even when that came out, I'm like, you dumbing down what it really takes to keep a man. And when she said that, I thought to myself, that's all you got to do to keep a man.
Keep this man.
That's a lie.
Yeah, that is a lie. That's a lie. So I'm like, don't tell all these women that they need to be doing all these things to keep a man. Like, there are a lot of things you need to do to keep a man, keep him happy, keep him satisfied, keep him in a relationship, and they're not all sexual. So I thought that was a disservice. And then now you fast forward, you divorced that dude that you said you had to do all these things with to keep him. So clearly you ain't keeping him. And then like 2.5 nights later, you pop up marrying a woman. I was like, that whole thing for me was just like, but hopefully she happy now. Hopefully she got what she want. Hopefully she won't be with this woman for 3 months and then divorce her. It is what it is.
You think the brother Gillum, what's his first name?
Oh, Andrew Gillum, the Tallahassee mayor who's
from Florida. Do you think that? Because I'm using it because he's in kind of an entanglement of sorts too. This came out as bisexual. I think this is what he said.
Yes.
And John, women did applaud that.
That's what they said in public, but I think we all know what was really said on the group chat.
I wasn't on the group chat, so I don't know.
Oh, here we go. See, this is straight no chaser.
I'm not on the group chat, so
I'm not talking about a real specific group chat. I'm talking about like the generic cliched group chat. Black women, and this is very generalized, so everybody that don't fit this, don't email me. It's just my opinion. But I'm just saying, most black women are not very comfortable with a man who likes men. Even if you like men half the time.
Was in Atlanta allegedly for like all those years.
Huh?
Atlanta was known to have dudes that was on the DL, apparently.
Okay.
You never heard that before?
I have. What's that? I don't know what that got to do with anything, but what?
Well, I'm saying like there was a lot of negative stereotypes around like black women saying, I can't really trust what was going on with black men that was from Atlanta because they would be on the DL.
There you go. Exactly. So that's what I was getting back to what Rasheem was saying. Rob was like, women was applauding that. I think that's what they said in public. But if Andrew Gillum, or what's his name, Brian Gillum, or
No, you had it right.
Gillum. So if he came up to him and he wasn't married and he tried to holler at him and they knew that he was bi, in reality, that don't really go over too well. But I'm glad that he's living his life and telling his truth and all of and applause to his woman, because whew, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot, because I'm sorry, the man was found butt naked, passed out in a room full of other naked men. And he said all he did was drink alcohol. No liquor on the planet is going to make me do that. But hey, whatever.
I mean, we already know that's not true. I mean, come on, man.
That's what's not true.
His story it wasn't a total truth.
Oh, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So like, number one, this is nobody's business, for real. None of this is nobody's business. But I think he's trying to, restart his political career. And it's a very interesting way that he's going about it, because Black people are his base. We are a very conservative people, 9 times out of 10. So coming out saying that you bi is a very interesting way of trying to generate support.
I don't think it hurts him though. And like, I think the people that are super religious, it could impact them. But the stereotype at this point is like the choir directors, some of the, I'm going really hard stereotypes. Not that I believe them at all, but people look at the choir directors and other people in the church, and there's a lot of hypocrisy in the church anyway. So I think at this point, he should be good to go. Like I say, as a politician, sometimes you got to own it. And the more you own your truth, in my opinion, I think the better off you'll be with the people that you're trying to represent. Because all of us on this screen here have flaws. We have a lot of things in our past. I'd imagine it could come back out, that could hurt us in some way. And if confronted, if we own it, I don't see how that can harm you in any like a significant way if the people that you love are supporting you.
Yeah, if anything, he's gonna go up. Like, look, I think the more that you hide it and you lie about it, the more people are like, I can't trust you, I can't believe you. And now we're at a different point in history where Black folk had traditionally been conservative, but now when you look at what's going on in present day, we're getting younger, we're getting more diverse, we're becoming more liberal in thought and action, and people are now way more accepting than we were back in the day. Like, our trajectory is really interesting. At one point in time, Black people, anchored by the church, we were a conserving institution. We conserved each other. We preserved each other. We kept each other tight because we couldn't go no place else to be Black in the world. But then that conserving institution became a conservative institution. And then we started to demonize and damn people for the things that they, for who and what they were. And now we're in a new age where people are like, listen, the phrase that I keep hearing all the time is, I need to stand in my truth. People are standing in their truth. And I think for Andrew Gillum, for him to go out there and go on television and talk about this, that is putting him in a position where you got people who are gay, lesbian, transgendered, who are sitting now in state houses, mayoral offices, governorships, United States Congress. He could get elected.
I think people can look at him and say, for him, I'd imagine he is very relieved to some extent that this has happened to him, and he no longer has to do a lot of work to conceal his lifestyle.
He's still married, so I mean that's still going to turn some people off and kind of.
I think the definition of married is whatever they define it to. If his wife is cool, whatever he's doing, that's between them two.
Right.
But it's not, because he's an elected official. So kind of he can't.
No, what he does in his bedroom has nothing to do with him being an elected official.
That's his job.
See, y'all.
I mean, agree it does though.
In theory, you're right, but in reality,
how Neil?
No, I'm just saying, like, I get the whole thing that we talk about, like, what you do in your household, but you still might have a lot of voters or supporters that might look at that negatively, and criticize, and that's a lot of stress to deal with on a daily basis. I mean, it's all in how he's built and how his wife is built, but that's not looked on a positive note to a lot of people.
You haven't answered the question.
I'm just saying, like,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I
think what you're talking about is more morally speaking, but that has nothing to do with the job description. As long as he's not breaking the law, his wife is good with it, and he's doing his job, there should really not be anybody that's upset about it.
And I'll add this: even if his wife isn't good with it, if they decide to, within the confines of their relationship, decide to go separate ways, then that's their decision. So his wife don't even have to be good with it, but allow them to take care of their personal life the way they need to take care of their personal life. And then when he has to go to work, allow him to be whatever he's been elected to be. Now, this is all conjecture because he's not elected to be anything right now. But if he decides to run and people elect him to something, then the question's been answered.
Yeah. Now, unless there's a morality clause in wherever he goes to work.
Oh, like Liberty University?
Yeah. Like people in media, they have a morality clause. So, unless there's something like that, and that's clearly defined as something that he cannot do, then he would have to kind of either not take that job or change his lifestyle.
What you saying, John? You look like
you definitely gonna find out. So, okay. We all gonna be around here. Hopefully, like I said, I think he's very talented. I think he's very charismatic and all that other good stuff. I totally co-sign Rasheem's point that there's a massive amount of people who have alternative lifestyles, for the lack of a better word, and will be absolutely very interested in what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. So we haven't heard the last of him. He'll be around for a while. So, I mean, speaking of things that's around for a while, I think we got to talk about Black Lives Matter.
Well, before we get to Black Lives Matter, are we going to talk about the settlement for Breonna Taylor's family?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, anybody feel like that's enough money? Do you feel good about it? Do you feel like that's enough? Do the protests need to stop?
Oh, no.
I don't think there's no money enough to for the loss of a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing, I mean, everybody has okay, I'll say it like this. The fact that an amount was given for the unjust killing, okay, cool. But the biggest thing for me is I want to focus on the arrest. I'm not focusing on the money. I want to know what's up with the charges, what's up with the arrest. That's my thing. The $12 million is nice, cool, okay. Me personally, I wouldn't be celebrating that because it's still, this cop or cops are still free. Nothing's happened yet. So I want to see what happens on that end first.
All right, let me pose it this way then. Would you rather have the money or would you rather have the cops who killed Breonna Taylor arrested?
I'm not accepting that false dichotomy. Not accepting it. I'm not accepting it. Like, I'll say it like this. I'm relieved that Tamika Palmer and her family is getting something. I wish that it was way more. 12 million. You can't put a dollar amount on the value of a life.
The people who live in that area are paying for that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this, because I'm back on not accepting that false dichotomy. That is a civil award. That ain't got nothing to do with whether or not those officers are criminally liable. Mm-hmm. And as we see with OJ, you could be found innocent of something, but still found guilty in a criminal court and have to pay, a civil court and have to pay civil damages, even though he was found innocent of killing those people. So there's a separation between that. Let her get that civil money. Okay, fine. But now we got to look to the government. We got to look to the police and be like, they need to be found criminally liable and they need to get charged, arrested, and serve time for what they did. Like, so it's not for me. I can't have it either or. Like, I need to see both. Because if they were found, let's say they were arrested. Let's say they were arrested the day after it happened. They was charged. They went to jail. Then my look to the government would be like, now how are we gonna pay their family for the loss of their child? So I'm looking for both things to happen.
I don't disagree with that. My question still remains, even though you don't accept it, which would you prefer to happen? The money? Like first, the money or the arrest?
First,
For me, be the arrest.
first.
I want him arrested. I want him dead.
Okay.
If
It's a tough question.
if I would want, if it was first, I would want the family to get hit off. Pay the family.
Because they may not get arrested.
Because they may, exactly. And I wholeheartedly believe this. I heard this years ago, and I've repeated it ever since. Money is not the most important thing in the world, but it's certainly up there with oxygen.
This is
So if they got to live their life without their child, let them live it with a little bit of change in their pocket.
So I'm kind of with, I had this discussion, privately a few days ago, and my initial reaction was, I don't want the money. They need to go to jail. They need to be held accountable. And the conversation was, and my point was, the money only helps that one family. It doesn't help the greater community. It doesn't help me when I can't breathe, sure, to the people that are also continually, impacted by police brutality, the unarmed killing of people of color. That doesn't help solve that. The arrest and prosecution of people who killed this woman, that sends a greater message, in my opinion, than a civil suit that will be paid by people who pay taxes in that area, not by the police themselves. If it was coming from their pension, I would feel a little bit differently, but there's no real impact to those people that have been involved at this point. And understand, to your point, Neil, they asked for probably $25 million. The city probably started down here, and they negotiated to 12. They didn't start at 12 and just like, oh, I'll give you $12 million. You know what I mean? So it's a dirty game, my friend.
Out to 12, the lawyer gets what 33%. So now we're down about 8. Then you got to take out taxes. So now we're down about 4.
But you also had, I think, John, a few episodes ago, you had some choice words for Ben Crump. Again, this is his law firm that
somehow he gets all these cases.
He's a civil rights attorney.
Is there only one?
It's not Lee Merritt. He's one. It's a couple of them out there.
I have been critical of Crump, but he kind of changed me when I saw him actually jump in there and actually get the work done, and when I saw him advocate on behalf of the families he was representing.
He's done.
He did it in a way that I felt like he was the right person at the right time to do that advocacy. Whether or not I would want him to try a case for me is something completely different. But if I wanted to have someone at the mic and podium to push and advance the narrative of my life and what my death might have meant in the grand scheme of things, I would definitely see. Mm-hmm. I'd be comfortable with Ben Crump up in there. Yeah.
I mean, KG, you said, do you want the settlement or do you want the police who did it arrested? I feel like kind of what Rob was saying, like by all means, in other words, people was mad, like I couldn't take the money, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. If the family is okay with it and they've signed off on everything, who are we to be outside being like, no, y'all can't take the money? That sounds stupid. So yes, family, there, you got your money, that's what it is. But the, I don't know what you would say, the ability to make the police stop doing what they're doing, clearly you could pay money all day long. These settlements been going on forever. That's not going to keep police from doing what they're doing. So we need to move along to another phase or do another thing, and we've discussed that ad nauseum. So,
my only issue is the brother that was in the room with her. You don't hear anything about his settlement. He was traumatized too. So he's gonna get 12 million, but he should get something.
I'm really confused, and I haven't done enough reading about this whole situation, but I know that the boyfriend that she was with had a legal weapon. The police, I guess, busted in and he shot at them because somebody busted into his house. So he fired a shot. There's a fusillade of shots back at him, and somehow only she gets hit. He didn't even get shot. How did that even happen?
He hit in the leg or something.
He did get
shot. I
shot.
don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe he did.
Yeah, he got shot. He got shot.
It sucks.
It does. And you know what? He's probably going to be asking himself that question for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how is it that she got all these bullets and I only got, you know, what I got and I'm still here? You know, there may be some survivor's remorse that goes along with that.
Oh, definitely.
But I mean, like, what else? If you're legally, and that's the thing, that's the catch-22. If you are legally carrying, and someone breaks in your door with a no-knock warrant looking for some drug dealer that's halfway across town,
already in custody.
Yep. Of course he gonna shoot.
I'm surprised he's alive to tell the tale, because normally she's dead and you dead. But you know.
Yeah.
What y'all think about the cops that got killed and shot at in LA?
I didn't see anything on that.
Again,
all right, so
I haven't been following that.
It's a wild one. So
street justice.
it was two cops, male and female, sitting inside their truck or something like that. Somebody walks up to them in the mask and just start busting on them. They both survive.
The LA sheriffs.
Yeah.
With the guy who had the woman was putting a tourniquet on his arm, even though she got shot in the face, it was bleeding all over the place.
I didn't see the video. You know, I watched those videos, but
you know I do.
Yeah. So they survived, and now the sheriff's department is offering, I think, $100,000. You know,
150.
150. They upped it, 150 reward to identify the person that was responsible. Whoever the head sheriff, I forget what you call him, but they was kind of taunting LeBron James to say something on behalf or as an advocate for the sheriffs being shot, and it's been cricket. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I did see that on the news. He was talking about that pretty much, you know, LeBron and folks alike pushed this narrative that connected to Black Lives Matter, of course, that there's this contentious relationship between cops and the Black community. And what he's trying to do is counter that narrative and be like, that doesn't exist. That's not real. That's a false narrative. And I need LeBron to come on out and support this just like he supports that. And I'm like, well, you can't tell a man what to support. I mean, that's not your role.
I think it'd be different if he came out and condemned the unarmed killing of other people by police. You can't have it only one way.
Yeah.
Right.
No, he's saying that's not really an issue. It's just a few bad apples. Mm-hmm. That's why he can't condemn the unarmed killing of police. It's just something that happens that's terrible. But we got all these good cops out there who are getting gunned down. And you know, the side story on that is that there has been gang involvement with the LA Sheriff Department.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
And that this was a retaliation hit on those two cops. And he was going like, no, there's no gang affiliation in the sheriff's department, da 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 da. But I saw that.
If anything we've learned this year is you can't trust the word of the government officials. You can't trust the word of the police. I don't know who you can really go to look like you can trust. You can't trust preachers. And I'm speaking very broadly, right? There people lie, cheat, steal, do everything, man. So it's hard to figure out who you can trust. And if you're a citizen looking at these elected officials, these people in these positions of authority, and you got this dude 45 in the office who lies constantly, I think I can understand why people feel bleak. Unless you are financially just doing good, then everything that's happening around you has to have some type of impact on you psychologically. You just can't trust what's going on.
Right.
I mean, this whole thing with like social media, and you can't really vet. We all get so much input and information from social media, but very few of us actually see where it's coming from or delve into it and verify it. We just kind of read it, hear it, see it, and run with it. And I think that has contributed to the mistrust that you was talking about, Keltric, because it is true. I mean, all of our little community pillars like the church, we don't really go there. We don't trust it. The government, we don't trust the government. We don't trust the police. Our parents was on crack. I mean, it's like, damn, son, it's all jacked up. The literal environment is trying to kill us. I mean, It's a bad situation.
So there are a couple places we can go, because we were going to touch on the Black Lives Matter piece, and then you talked about social media, and we still want to touch on social media. So let's start since we're still closest to what was going on with Breonna Taylor and the cop and his reaction. I want us to talk about for a split second. There's this dialogue that's been out there for a minute, and people have been saying, how can Black Lives Matter when you take into consideration all this black on black crime that's going on? Mm-hmm. And some folks are straight up like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, stop killing babies in the street. Do you feel like that's a justifiable question?
No.
Absolutely not.
How come?
Well, it's not black on black crime, it's just crime. And no matter where you go, if you're in a community, you're going to have
so I don't know what
perpetuate crimes against people of their own skin color. You don't hear Hispanic on Hispanic crime. You don't hear white on white crime. You only happen to hear black on black crime because it helps support the narrative. And the narrative is, well, they're doing it to themselves. Well, yeah, people do kill other people they know. Like that's not. I think it's a dumb argument in my opinion. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter as it pertains to what another group of people who are supposed to protect and serve, and govern over you or with you, through you, whatever, and they hold you down with a knee on your neck. That's not ideal. So I think that's a dumb argument.
I mean, basically, it's false, because people will say, well, if Black Lives Matter, why isn't the 50 billion people that were shot in Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, or whatever, why don't they matter? And it's so stupid, because they do matter. There are people in those communities that have been active in trying to, reduce violence and, keep people from killing each other forever in Baltimore, Chicago, and you name it. But nobody pays any attention to them until it can be used to kind of take focus away from this other situation. So if the only time you mentioning so-called black on black crime is when it's in conjunction, or you trying to, take away focus and energy from police brutality, you don't give a damn about black on black crime. There's plenty of people that is concerned about black on black crime, but you don't never pay no attention to them. I could run down the list in DC. What's my man? I can't even think. Peacemakers or Peace something that was like a go-go band or some shit, and they would do go-go concerts in Berry Farms to give kids something to do. You know what I'm saying? People do all kinds of stuff like that. But in reality, the people who say that type of stuff don't really care that much about black on black crime. They want people to stop talking so much about blue on black crime. So it's whatever. It's so stupid. People are dumb.
Yeah. And then you, once again, like I said, you can't tell people, like the sheriff shouldn't tell LeBron what to say. But Black Lives Matter has its platform. They have the things that they are addressing. We shouldn't just say you need to address X, Y, and Z along with all the other stuff they're taking care of what they're taking care of. We got community advocates taking care of violence that we have in our communities. Now on the flip side, like I wouldn't say with every spat of black violence, we need to throw Black Lives Matter on it. I wouldn't say that. You don't just slap that label on them. I would also say, not with every spat of violence against black people, we need to throw Black Lives Matter on it. And I'll give an example. Pookie running down the street, he got a automatic rifle. He raises it at someone, like a white man, a cop, or whatever, raises it at him and gets shot because he raises the automatic rifle, which could have been unloaded. I don't know it as a trigger man. I'm not gonna look at that and be like, Pookie, Black Lives Matter. But we have some people who would say, in any situation, that it needs to be Black Lives Matter.
Correct.
Black lives do matter. Every black life matter. Black lives are people who are caught in the hustle, in the game, can't get out, who've been victims of oppression, systematic racism, poverty. Every Black life matter. But at the same time, I'm looking at it like you pointed a gun at somebody.
Why? Okay, see, here's my thing. You kind of described a situation that happened here recently in DC, KG. You probably don't know about this. I can't remember what the young man's name was. 18-year-old kid in Southeast, and he was in a car with some other kids, and the police were called. The police ran up to him. He is out of the car, and they've released the camera footage. So we see it.
I saw that. Yeah.
So the kid, the cop is coming to him. The kid is has a gun in his hand. He's raising the gun up, and he's throwing it. Now the cop draws down on him and kills him, and then immediately goes to look for the gun that he threw. So he saw that the boy threw the gun, or in that split second, he saw the gun, he saw the arm going up, he started shooting, and the cop just did what he had to do. Here's my point. In that situation, the young man was the amateur. He does not have training. He doesn't have the rules. He doesn't have, all the assumingly tests and, background to know what he should be doing in that situation. The police officer is the professional. He made a decision that cost this kid his life. Now, everybody says, okay, you Monday morning quarterbacking, because what if the kid pulled the gun up and started shooting at it? What if he did? Again, you're still the professional. And everybody's like, well, the police want to go home. All they want to do is go home at the end of their shift. Don't we all want to go home? Why do you get to be the only motherfucker that gets to go home? Can't we all go home? So here's my point. Yes, when there is a police shooting, an instance of police brutality, I fully hold police to a totally different level of professionalism, because that's literally your damn job. If you are so afraid of interacting with the public that your initial response to violence is even more violence, you're not the kind of police officer that we need in 2020. So for me, yeah, get your ass up out of here.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you are so fearful as a cop, I feared for my life. I shot him 50 times.
Yeah,
makes no damn sense to me. But that video you're talking about, I did see that, and I didn't see the beyond the shooting. So I didn't see him go look for a firearm that got tossed. I did see the kid raise the gun while he was running. He was running at the same time. And anyone who has fired a gun knows that it's not the easiest thing in the world to shoot somebody while they're in motion with a handgun. And what I saw in the body cam footage, he drew, and it was one shot while the kid was running. I don't know if that cop even knew where he was hitting him.
That's a problem.
And I don't necessarily know if it's a problem. One shot, he wasn't bang, 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 bang. It was like pop, the kid dropped and said, ah. And it looked like he went to his side and held his side. And then the video stopped for me. So I'm torn on that one. I'm just gonna say I'm torn on that one. I think that there are far more obvious examples, and then there are other examples that's just gonna make me sit back and think and be like, is that just someone doing a job? I don't know.
So wait, just so that I could follow up, because it sounds just interesting. Did the young man die from that, or was he? He died.
He died.
In that one shot.
In that one shot.
You
said what? And his family is very active in the community and so on and so forth. So it's not like, in my opinion, he made a terrible decision, the young man. I think that he probably panicked in that split second and made a really bad decision. And that's exactly why you, as the professional law enforcement officer, have to be, that kid should have been charged with having a handgun. He should have been arrested. All of the above. I have no problem with that. But when you make a decision to take somebody's life and it turns out that they was trying to throw the gun away or run away or whatever it is, no, sir, you got to pay a price for that.
The sad thing is you can't prove that after you've taken a life. That's the sad thing.
In other words, if the gun was in his hand and he got shot, boom, the gun's still going to be laying right there. But he was trying to throw the gun away from
This
him.
eliminates the trial. Like I remember being in high school and asking an officer or somebody, why don't y'all shoot to hurt as opposed to shoot to kill?
That's Hollywood.
No. This is not Hollywood. I'm talking about real life police people.
But I mean, shooting to hurt is Hollywood.
Yeah. And in essence, I think, Rod, you said this a couple of episodes ago, and I even heard this, from several people. Better to be tried by 6 than carried by 6. I'm tried by 12, carried by 6.
Yeah, I hadn't said that. You probably heard it elsewhere. I wouldn't say that because I would on John's side, I would rather try to de-escalate the situation so that nobody has to.
No, I hear what I'm saying. The mentality of a lot of police officers is that I'd rather be in court than be buried.
Yep.
As opposed to being buried, I am going to de-escalate in my own way by killing you. I'm gonna neutralize this threat. Mm-hmm. And I think that, to John's point, you see cops have the ability to de-escalate in certain situations, even in life-threatening situations.
With white folk.
Exactly. But you see less of those types of that restraint or that discipline being displayed when it deals with people of color, particularly Black people. And we gotta figure out how to create our own police department so they know how to police the hood better, differently. I do think we need law enforcement. I don't like how it's done right now.
Oh man, there's so many fixes that would help law enforcement, but I mean, we also, it's a very complex situation because law enforcement and the criminal justice system and prisons all work in conjunction with one another. And that starts going into like political power and stuff, because you got the prisons that are off in the boondocks of the state. That's the major employer in that county. That's the major employer in that part of the state. They want to count them prisoners as the population, but they don't want to. They want to keep that money coming. They need more prisoners. So it goes deep.
What do y'all think about people in California using prisoners to fight the fires?
What I just read that briefly, and I think it was like prisoners who were either close to getting out or who had just recently gotten out. And it was paying them like nothing. They weren't doing it for free, but it might as well have been free.
It's crazy to me.
Because they getting paid nothing. And once again, it's one of those things that's just not a simple
right.
Because would I rather them still sitting in jail?
The prisoners will be like, I'll go fight some fires if I get to see some fresh air.
In the areas, they ain't nowhere near fresh.
I would dare say that they'd be like, I'd rather be out there breathing in the smog than stuck in here.
And if I remember it right, it's a group that's a part of like fire training, like firefighting, and they're being trained to do that. And it might be because that's just a serious climate issue on the West Coast. So and it may be no different than, people in jail learning how to code and doing information technology. And then as they get close to getting out and getting a job in information technology, the big difference is they'll get paid way more.
I feel like these guys are guinea pigs. These guys and ladies are guinea pigs in the situation, and they run out of resources. So they're leveraging these people to fill in the gap. They're a stopgap in a bigger issue.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that they don't lose their lives, and that can be an opportunity that's used for them to gain an additional skill that they can flip into a job once these fires have come and gone. Like I'm trying to look at that as positively as possible. Like I know all of the stuff that went into getting them in jail. Like we got a lot of people who've been wrongfully convicted of crimes. We got people who were convicted of crimes that didn't even happen sitting in jail. And I just came across, everyone's talking about qualified immunity for cops. And I didn't even think about it until I came across this the other day, that there is something called absolute immunity for prosecutors. Mm-hmm. So you got prosecutors who can never be held accountable for sending people to jail who shouldn't have been sent to jail. So now these are people who are filling those cells, And if they have an opportunity to get out, I don't know. I'm torn with that.
Wait, but hold up, because I mean, I looked at it from a different perspective. I don't know, based on what you said, Rob. Did you say that they were trained for that? Because like when you say taking the inmates, this is just inmates and you don't know nothing about fire training and they just throwing you out there. You said something about training.
I believe I read something about training. I hate to pick on Pookie. I don't think they just took Pookie from Cell Block D and was like, here's a water hose, go.
Okay. And that's the thing that I'm saying. That's what changes my perspective to a degree. Yes, it's foul that you're not getting paid or whatever the case. But if you have some training, and those fires, I'm sure, are devastating. They probably need all the manpower they can get.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it from that positive juncture of like, okay, y'all are getting trained to do this. Maybe you're trying to get into a cadet program or something. The fire department desperately needs help. Go on out and help if you already have training for this. In that aspect, I'm like, I think that's all right.
I mean, I feel like they was like, you can stay in the prison. I read somewhere that something like 5 million acres or just some crazy ass number.
Fire is crazy right now.
Like I'm trying to, I wonder how many acres is in California, Oregon, Washington or whatever. But I mean.
And the thing I just read was that the governor, Gavin Newsom, signed a bill that will expunge the records so that would allow them to go on and get jobs as firefighters.
Oh, most definitely then. I definitely think that's all right then.
Hey, John, there's 104 million acres in California.
104 million, and something like 5 million have been burnt or something like. And it seems like this happens like every year, although these are the worst. These are the worst. But it seems like it's like 1 million every year.
Listen, climate change is real, man. You got these hurricanes. They about to run out the letters of the alphabet for the hurricanes this season for the first time, and I think the second time in history.
But this one right here hit a little different, because didn't you say, Keltric, on the last show that this fire got started? How did this fire get started?
One of them got started from people doing a gender reveal party.
Right. And then there was one in Oregon. It was just someone that was just lighting fires. They got arrested. 2 people got arrested. They just running around lighting fires.
So crazy.
So, what about that Social Dilemma, y'all? Y'all watch that?
Yes.
Yeah. So, John, you want to give people like a synopsis of it?
Okay. So, real quick, internet, you need to check out, first of all, while we're on the internet, Straight No Chaser, the podcast. Like, share, subscribe, Spotify, Instagram, Anchor, YouTube. We're everywhere. Holla at us. So, Social Dilemma is a documentary on Netflix. And basically, it talks about all the different social media networks and how they operate, the algorithms, and kind of like how they come about and why they are so intrusive into people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And why is it that you can't seem to put your damn phone down?
How they hold your interest.
Yeah. They hold your interest, and it's very interesting. So people out there, Social Dilemma on Netflix, check this out. But I found it to be fascinating. It boggles my mind that I could have found Zuckerberg's bitch ass in 2011 and gotten some piece of Facebook if I had any kind of idea, but I didn't. This is the world that we in now. It's like, it's too late to put the toothpaste back in the tube. So like one of the dudes on the show was like, how do we fix this? He was like, we can't fix it. It's over. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is now. All we can do is try to send it in another direction, but it's here now. You don't put the genie back in the bottle.
I didn't get that impression. The impression I got was more you have to be very deliberate and limit yourself to social media.
And they were also, I don't know if you want to, well, lack of a better words, laughing at society's inability to discipline themselves. I guess kind of follow what you're saying. Discipline, they know certain people, the part that caught me the most is when they were like, they'll study your habits and your routine. So if you like a particular thing, that's all the feed and stream that you're going to continuously get. And it's just weird. And the other aspect was about how they're able to disassociate. If we're all living in 4 different regions, but we look up a specific title, the title will come up differently for all 4 of us. And I'm just like, yo, that's manipulation at its highest right there for me.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. It was all it's a lot. It's behavior modification.
Right.
They want us to modify the way we behave so that so that the people who pay them, the advertisers, can make money. They're not doing it for the hell of it. They're doing it so that their business can grow and develop. And the only way their business grows and develops is if they get more users to use their platforms. The line that hit me the most was when it was a quote that said that flashed on the screen. It said the only industry something along the line. I'm paraphrasing. The only industries that refer to its customers as users is social media and the illegal drug industry. And I was sitting there like, because the whole thing is built on addiction. Like they want us addicted to that chime, that notification. While I'm saying this, I want the notification to go off on y'all phones that Straight No Chaser has dropped a new podcast, and y'all jump to go watch it. So it's a double-edged sword. Like I want y'all watching the podcast. I want y'all listening to Spotify, Apple podcasts, or watch it on YouTube, but not to be addicted. You know what I'm saying? Because the addiction solely is not for the benefit of the company to say we got so many millions to billions of people addicted. It's solely so people can get rich.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that got me.
I mean, y'all know I've been on I'm off of Facebook. I've been off of that for probably about 3 years at this point. And I got off of IG for probably about 2 years, got back into it this year, really kind of heavy with COVID. I'm about to fade to black on that joint again too. And I definitely can, in my own life, I can see how addictive social media can be. It's just the phone. Like my phone, people know me, my phone is not very far behind. Like it's just, we're together. and we are. I mean, I know Neil ain't really like that. He used to not be, but I think you probably more with your phone more than you used to be before too. It definitely has
right here, right now.
Yeah, it has a unique impact. You know what I'm saying? And I had to be very intentional. Like when I put my daughter to bed, to leave my phone downstairs. If we go outside, leave my phone in the house. So I think the phone it's a problem, man. I remember we had pagers and those were, temporary, but
is it possible to not throw the baby out with the bathwater? Is it possible to be able to use your phone for the positive and the benefits that come with it, but then just put it down when you don't need to use it and be like, my phone is regimented so it doesn't run my life? Because when you look at the social dilemma, a lot of them was like, I'm not doing this no more. It's evil. Others was just like, I just regimented. Like no one in my household could be on their phone after a certain time.
But see, I got that even the people who designed the software, like even they had problems and they knew what the effect was supposed to be, the intention of it was. So it's a dangerous, it's kind of like, I guess, that's not a good analogy, but I think it's very difficult. Like, I think it's very difficult. So I think you kind of got to throw the bath and the baby out at the same time.
The discipline got to be real. Because I forgot the gentleman, I don't know whether he was Google or somebody, but I don't know if you remember the gentleman that said it got to a point, and I could relate it to myself, it got to a point where it was so addicting, whether you're doing games or whatever you're looking at, whereas before you go to sleep, it's like, let me either play a game or look at a news feed or something right before I go to sleep. And I'm just like, damn, that was me. Like I go to bed at whatever time and I'm just like, the last thing I do, I could read a book, I could be meditating, praying or whatever. The last thing I'm at the screen. And the screen is right there next to my bed. That's the last thing I look at before I go to sleep. And I'm like, damn. Or like the family, when they had the family where they're like, because I correlate that to my daughter sometimes, where you have mealtime where you're together and it's like the phone is right next to them. And when she put it in that time lock and the daughter got crazy, she couldn't even do it. She had to go and break it. I'm like, it's really that serious. Like, think about it right now. If I was to throw this out to you, aside from, family, whatever, do you think y'all could put your phones away for like a week and not look at it?
No.
Yeah, it would be tough. That would be tough. But I tell you this, if you put it in a time lock container, I'm not breaking the time lock container. I think that was just extra. I'm not.
From a teenage, but think about it, from a teenage perspective, that's probably not extra. That's how they feel. Because remember the son, when they heard the chime, he's like, can I just look at it to see what the message was? It's that real for the teenagers.
I got a 3-year-old, as y'all know, and she has iPad time. Cutting the TV off, like she's watching TV, it's easy to kind of get off the TV. Just cut the TV off and just no noise. iPad, when it's time to let that thing go, most times, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. We are very much plugged in. I feel like social media has supplanted the church for Black people. It's kind of like where we congregate, where we socialize, and where our culture is kind of transmitted to one another. I don't see I do definitely see how it can be a negative. Anything can be a negative. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. But at the same time, like, it is all in how you use it. So I used to listen to a lot of music. I still listen to a lot of music. I love to read books and everything like that. But rather than having my case of CDs and my bookcase full of books, I got everything that I need right here on my phone. I can contact everybody that matters to me. I can send them a quick message. Everything. It's really an amazing, invention. And it's sad that it is so misused by so many people, but I think it depends on the individuals, and it's all in, how you use the technology. I'm not.
But isn't it a way, if you think about it from that perspective, I just had a different perspective on it. If you're going back to like how we said the founders in their, let's say, diabolical plan, isn't that one of the things that you think they probably thought of? Like, let's put everything that's important to John or whoever, all his phone contacts in here. Like, prime example, if you were to lose your phone now, would you be able to rotary dial, old school phone, 5 numbers?
Probably not. Myself, my ex-wife, my mother's, and maybe my best friend. That's about it.
But think about now when you were a teenager and all you had was the rotary phone. I'm sure you either had some numbers written down or you do them all in your head.
But see, it's like, y'all remember back in the day, we are the generation that remembers everything from before the internet and after the internet and everything else. But like back in the day, when you was trying to meet up with somebody before cell phones, before pages and whatnot, you had to really talk to that person and be like, look, I'm gonna park right here under this sign. I'm gonna be at this corner of the bar. And if y'all somehow missed each other, that was it. Because it's a wrap.
But that doesn't address what Neil just brought up, though. But you oversimplifying it, Neil. The thing was back then, we all had phone books where you wrote people's phone numbers in. Like what they call a phone book on our phone ain't a phone book. It comes from us having a phone book. And the way the brain operates, the people that you keep, the people who keep in your life, you keep dialing their number. And the way the brain operates, you dial it enough, you remember it. So that's why we were able to always have a number, remember a number, who it belonged to, and dial it. Now, all we have to do is scroll for a name. Sometimes we don't even do that. We just hit, return call, go to our log, and whoever was the recent call log, hit that person. So our brain isn't being operated and worked out in the way that it used to work out, where you had to write a number down, look at it, dial it every time you wanted to call somebody.
Mm-hmm. My man Tommy from Martin GTD in his black book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really watch Martin like that.
I remember that.
Get the
days are gone.
I didn't watch it. But the thing is, though, they knew what they was doing. Like the people who created, who was the VP for growth to build membership and all that and for Facebook and Instagram, they knew that they wanted to create an experience that was similar to us getting high, the release of dopamines, so that when that chime went off, we wanted to go see who left us a comment. Mm-hmm. Was it a good comment or a bad comment? Was it a comment from that girl I've been looking for? You know what I'm saying? They knew what they was doing when they created it because they wanted to grow the user base.
It's human nature.
I'm glad you said that because it seemed like the detriment, another part of the thing was the young girl, the one that broke the lock, she was taking so many selfies just to get approval, get likes. And once she started getting likes, she was happy.
Yeah, I got ears.
But that one negative comment about the ears destroyed her. destroyed her.
You missed out on the dude that got radicalized too.
But isn't that human nature though? That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's human nature. And it's actually, to me, very fascinating how they have somehow, what really tripped me out was like, the algorithm was begun by a human, but it has been refined and sent through so many different computers that like now the humans don't even recognize it. The algorithm is teaching itself. That's what machine learning is. The machines and the computers are learning how best to play humans. This is literally the damn plot to the Terminator. I mean, people need to learn how to use the technology is all I'm trying to say.
Right. Just like, Players Club. Make that money. Don't let it make you.
Exactly. Make
use
the money.
Technology. Don't let the technology use you.
You
I
got to
do believe that there could be balance. I think there could be balance. I tell you what I did, because at the end of the documentary, it's like a documentary sliced in with fictional storytelling. So when we talk about breaking the time lock and the girl with the ears, that wasn't documentary, that was the storytelling. But at the end of it, you had these people who are in the industry, been in the industry, foundations and founders in the industry. You got ghosts over there?
Yo, wait a minute.
We gotta burn some sage?
I think whatever you're talking about, man, just
Yo, the most priceless look was Keltric's face. Like, what the?
Oh my God. But at the end of the documentary, they were going through, when they were rolling the credits, their tips, what they tell, like what they do for themselves and for their family, like no phones at the dinner table.
I gotta go back and see that.
Yeah, no phones between this time and that time. And all of them said the same thing. Turn off your notifications, turn off your notifications, turn off your notifications. So I was like, let me turn off my notifications. And I turned off my notifications, and I noted, like, I am not going to my phone like a lab rat. You know what I'm saying? Like a dog being trained to do something. So now throughout the day, I may hit up Facebook 2-3 times out the day, when before the notification will pop off and I pick it up and look at it as soon as the notification went off. And then I'm caught in this rabbit hole. And now the one thing, once again, use my technology, don't let my technology use me. So now with the iPhone, it tells you every week what your screen time is on. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get my numbers down on all of the hours that it shows you spend on social media. I want to get that down. And then the hours that it shows of me reading articles, books, and stuff like that, I want to get that up. You know what I'm saying? So that's a conscious thing I'm trying to do to balance that out.
I'm staying on. I am doing all the negative stuff. I'm on all the gambling websites and everything else. And y'all just gonna learn from my bad example.
We'll do.
There you have it.
We'll do.
But on that note, fellas, just that quick, it was an hour and a half.
Yes, sir.
Damn.
I'm ready.
So, internet, one more time. And the name of this documentary is The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix. We are not on Netflix yet, but we will be with your support. So please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your coworkers. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, you name it, we're there. Straight No Chaser, the podcast. And gentlemen, y'all got one more thing? What's up?
I said, you clearly don't subscribe to Apple. You always leave the iTunes out.
iTunes. I got a Pixel. I think Apple is the devil. So on that note, except when you buy in their stock. On that, they're real good. Everything else, no thank you. So y'all got some last thoughts, so that's it.
Get you some life insurance.
Send you some sage for your house, bro.
Yeah, burn some sage, Cage.
Oh, that's because we waiting for this baby.
Or it could be Lovecraft Country.
Love that show.
Y'all need to watch it.
I don't believe in bad ghosts, so if it is something in there, it just means nothing but good. It just wanted to look over your elbow, look over your shoulder.
It's all love. It's all love.
It's all love. So on that note, well, I mean, hopefully we will see all four of us next week. We might not, because KG, you might have something better to do. We'll see. We'll see.
For sure. All right, y'all.
On that note, adios, internet.
Peace.
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 Yeah, man.
And on that note, we're going to say peace out, God bless, and good night.
Straight, no chaser.